Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, India starts commercial production of crude oil from its flagship deep-sea project in a river basin off the coast of the country's southern state of Andhra Pradesh. India summons Maldives High Commissioner, raises concerns over remarks by its ministers against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh wins a fourth consecutive term in office. Her party secures a two-thirds majority in Sunday's election. And the historical drama Oppenheimer and gothic comedy Poor Things win top honors at the Golden Globes. India's energy production is set to rise as the country's state-owned Oil and Natural Gas Corporation kickstarts oil production from its flagship deep-water project in the Krishna-Godavari basin off the coast of the state of Andhra Pradesh. Oil production is expected to touch 45,000 barrels per day and more than 10 million cubic meters of gas per day, which will contribute towards self-reliance in energy production. Now, this project is expected to add 7% to current India's local oil production and 7% to the natural gas production as well. Gas production commenced in March 2020 with plans to further ramp it up by May this year. The oil production will help India save more than $1.3 billion per year. India imports 85% of its crude oil requirements and about half of its natural gas needs. And Prime Minister Modi has called it a remarkable move. He said on X, and I quote, "This is a remarkable step in India's energy journey and boosts our mission for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. It will have several benefits to our economy as well," unquote. And joining me is my colleague Ajay Mishra. Ajay, why is it a significant milestone in India's energy sector?
Ramesh, if I can take you back in 2018, this project was planned with an investment of almost 85,000 crores within the span of 15 to 16 years. But look at a private company led by Reliance, had a joint venture with the British Petroleum in the same KG basin, and they tried their best with their latest technology to explore the oil and gas from the same KG basin, but they did not succeed because of the proliferation of some of the sands into the oil wells. So learning from the mistakes, the ONGC have now shown to the world that they have the capability to go for this world-class manufacturing of oil wells within the D6 basin. And primarily, the target was to produce 8,000 to 9,000 barrels per day. But now, as the minister have tweeted, that the final capacity could go up to 45,000 barrels per day, which is 5 times jump from the initial estimate. So look at the scale that we have actually succeeded to achieve. Going forward, where will this crude oil go? It will first go to the MRPL, which is the subsidiary of ONGC. First, the crude oil, the quality of crude oil, the grade of crude oil will be tested, and then the pricing will be decided. What price this should be exported or should be used in country for the exploration and for the exports of the final goods. So for the energy security of the country and to achieve the goal of developed nation by 2047, as you know that as we grow, the energy demand is also likely to grow. When we invest heavily in the infrastructure, when we invest heavily in the economy, the demand of the energy almost, doubles or triples by the consumers. So it is a great news for the consumers, great news for the producers. We understand that going forward, this is going to be a major milestone for not just state-run ONGC, but for the private players also who might learn from the skills and technology of the ONGC. We have a joint venture with the Malaysian company for the manufacturing of the oil wells. They are, and the machineries are going to be imported from Malaysia very soon. We understand that this project is going to commence ahead of the schedule, which was the May 2024. This is a great milestone, and we understand that with the launch of Biofuel Alliance, the International Solar Alliance, and the focus on hydro and other renewables, India's energy security is on the right path, and we are going to achieve the self-reliance in energy sector sooner than later.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Ajay Mishra, thank you for now. Appreciate it. Right, moving on, India summoned Maldives' High Commissioner over remarks made by 3 of its ministers who have since been suspended. The top Maldivian diplomat in India was called to the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi. The government of Maldives has said that it's aware of the derogatory remarks on social media platforms against foreign leaders and high-ranking individuals. It said that these opinions are personal and do not represent the views of the government of Maldives. It said in a statement that the government believes that the freedom of expression should be exercised in a democratic and responsible manner and in ways that do not spread hatred, negativity, and hinder close relationships between Maldives and its international partners, unquote. The 3 suspended ministers are Mariam Shiuna, Malsha Sharif, and Mahzoom Majid. Maldives' Minister of Foreign Affairs, Musa Zamir, has said that the remarks are unacceptable. Minister Zamir said that such remarks do not reflect the official position of the government of Maldives. He said Maldives remains committed to fostering a positive and constructive dialogue with all its partners, particularly its neighbors. On Sunday, a former Maldivian president, Ibrahim Mohamed Soleh, had condemned the use of hateful language against India, saying that New Delhi has always been a good friend to the island nation. Even a former Maldivian foreign minister, Abdullah Shahid, called the remarks reprehensible and odious. A former vice president of Maldives, Ahmed Adibs, and a former minister of youth and sports, Ahmed Mahlouf, also spoke out against the hateful comments. Meanwhile, calls for boycotting Maldives as a tourist destination have gained momentum. Indian celebrities and social media influencers have called for a boycott of Maldives and its tourist attractions. Actor Akshay Kumar, cricketer Sachin Tendulkar and others have urged Indian nationals to avoid Maldives in favor of domestic destinations. More than 8,000 hotel bookings in Maldives have since been cancelled. 2,500 flight tickets have also been cancelled by Indian tourists. And in 2023, Indian tourists were the largest number of visitors to the Maldives. An Indian online travel aggregator, Ease My Trip, has suspended flight bookings to Maldives. In solidarity with our nation, Ease My Trip has suspended all Maldives flight bookings, its CEO said on X.
हमारी कंपनी पूरी होम ग्रोन मेड इन इंडिया कंपनी है और हमने रिसेंटली जो सोशल मीडिया पे चल रहा है, जो हमें बयान सुनने में मिल रहे हैं मालदीव्स के गवर्नमेंट के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से, उसके तहत हमने डिसाइड किया है कि अब हम आगे से कोई भी मालदीव्स की बुकिंग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे। हमारे देश में 3 लाख लोग हर साल मालदीव्स जाते थे, अब वो ईज़ माई ट्रिप पे ये फैसिलिटी अवेल नहीं कर पाएंगे।
Right, so we are tracking this story for you on DD India News Hour that India has summoned Maldives' High Commissioner to India for a meeting at the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi. And the top Maldivian diplomat, as we showed you in those visuals there, was seen entering and leaving the ME headquarters here in New Delhi. And joining me for more on this developing story is my colleague Meghna Dev, who joins us from Ahmedabad. Meghna, a host government summons a foreign diplomat in exceptional circumstances. So does the summoning of the Maldives High Commissioner indicate that India has taken a very stern view of the developments?
Absolutely, and that was very clear. In fact, when yesterday also India did raise up the matter, strongly raise the matter with the Maldivian authorities. Our High Commission in Maldives did raise it, and today also there's a post on X which says that the High Commissioner of India to Maldives, Munu Mahawar, did meet. He had a meeting with Dr. Ali Nasir Mohammed, who is Ambassador at Large at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Maldives today, and that definitely speaks volumes of how important or how strongly has India raised this issue, and has India brought it up to Maldives that such derogatory remarks and such remarks in a bad taste definitely will be called out for, and definitely not only the officials for that matter, but netizens also on social media have been posting a lot in terms of how these remarks did not pass in a sense. The netizens, also people on social media, did not take it in good taste.
Now, the ministers concerned have since been suspended. They have also deleted their posts on X. But the damage has already been done, is it not? India-Maldives ties might take some time to recover from this avoidable controversy.
Clearly, because now it's not just been diplomacy on the table, but now when it's gone to the masses, we have been seeing remarks from celebrities. Celebrities also did trend on how beautiful places are there in India as well, and also we saw that hashtag explore Indian islands was trending, hashtag boycott Maldives was trending. So now definitely it would take some time, exactly as you said, Ramesh, to recover, or probably to see back to normal, to see the ties back to normal. But having said that, the controversy, while even if the ministers have been suspended and the Maldivian government has said that these are their personal remarks, and these remarks do not stand for the government of Maldives, and they will also take strict action against those who have passed these derogatory remarks, and they did take action in terms of suspending these ministers. But having said that, when it goes, diplomacy goes to the masses, it will definitely take some time, and now we definitely see that people are cancelling their trips. Some online companies also have stopped selling tickets for Maldives, or people have started cancelling their hotel bookings and much more. While we know that India is one of the biggest source for tourists in Maldives, it is very this will definitely have an impact in terms of the economy for Maldives and economy, because a huge part of the economy is just based on tourism. And when India holds the #1 spot in terms of number of tourists going to Maldives, this will definitely have an impact. While the ties currently seem to be a bit strained, it will definitely take time to recover.
Meghna, thank you. That was Meghna Dev reporting there from Ahmedabad. Now, moving on, the High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, and Sri Lanka's Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Bandula Gunawardene, launched a track rehabilitation project at Galgamuwa railway station on Sunday. The second phase of the Maho-Anuradhapura line is being executed under an Indian line of credit of $318 million. It will be completed in 6 months. The upgrade will help people from the northern province travel seamlessly to the country's capital, Colombo. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Taiwan detects 3 more Chinese balloons flying over a narrow strip of water that separates the island from mainland China. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to hold talks in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia on Monday. And Ukraine and Russia continue to attack each other's military targets.
we bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has won Sunday's election. She becomes the country's Prime Minister for the 5th time. It's her 4th consecutive term in office since 2008. The ruling Awami League won 167 seats. The main opposition party, Bangladesh National Party, had boycotted the polls. And joining me is my colleague Naval Singh Parmar from Dhaka. Now, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's win was a foregone conclusion, but did the low voter turnout come as a disappointment for her government and party alike?
Actually, now data from Election Commission has arrived, and Election Commission made a statement that Bangladesh in the 12th national election, Awami League, Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League government party won 223 seats, while the opposition party in parliament won 11 seats. 61 seats are won by the independent candidates. Most of them are from the Awami League only. They are break away from the Awami League, and they contested independently. As you said that Bangladesh Nationalist Party boycotted the election, and due to that the voting percentage in this election was reduced to 40% from the 80%. But latest from the election shows that there is a 41.2% voting turnout in this election.
And looking at the India-Bangladesh relations, generally speaking, how would you describe the relations over the past decade in particular?
Yes, since the independence of Bangladesh, India and Bangladesh having a very warm relation. We have a common history, common language, and common culture, apart from many other commonalities. Apart from that, we are having a strong people-to-people bond between India and Bangladesh. We are in the previous government, or the same government is continued, and so that this relation will be achieve more height in coming days.
All right, Naval Singh Parmar in Dhaka. Thank you, appreciate it. Moving on, Taiwan detected 3 Chinese balloons flying over the Taiwan Strait. One of the balloons crossed over the southern tip of the island. Taiwan's defense ministry accused China of threatening its aviation safety and waging a psychological warfare with the balloons just days before the 13th January presidential election. Similar balloon activities were also observed in the Taiwan Strait last month. And DD India's Patrick Falk has more from Singapore. Take a listen.
Well, it's difficult to say what China is trying to achieve precisely. Its defense ministry hasn't commented on the balloons, and to an extent it doesn't feel that it has to. As we know, China regards Taiwan as part of its sovereign territory. But this is certainly provocative, not just because it comes, as you say, just after the previous complaint was made over the spate of balloons it's spotted over the past month, but also, as you say as well, one of the 3 balloons that was spotted flew over the southern tip of the island. It didn't just fly over the median line. It flew over the actual island itself. And I think you've got to be looking at why this is happening. It's hard to say this isn't, as Taiwan argues, part of psychological warfare by China ahead of this key vote on Saturday. And, you know, the three candidates vying for the presidency all offer a different version of the status quo, but Beijing regards the head of the DPP, the leading candidate of the DPP, and the party as separatists. It is, as I say, William Lai is leading the polls, as I say, and, you know, this is perhaps a message from China to say that, well, if he does win, then it is going to mean a continuation of tense relations between the two sides. But you may also make the argument that this could backfire for China because it is creating a lot of anger in Taiwan about Beijing's assertiveness. Yeah, there has been some interesting reaction because, you know, in the past, these balloons that have been spotted over the island, you know, we've heard from authorities in Taiwan suggesting that they appear to be weather balloons and to play down these balloons. But, you know, then we're getting this very strong reaction, as we've heard, threatening aviation and psychological warfare and all of that as we near the election. And you wonder whether or not this is because it is having an impact on the Taiwanese government. It may also arguably be trying to send a message to its people about, you know, what Beijing's intentions are, and also trying to highlight China's aggressiveness to voters as well. It's difficult to say whether or not that's the case, but certainly the response from Taiwan in recent days has been different to what we've seen in the past.
And in more news from the Indo-Pacific, China has said that its security agencies found another incident of spying in which the British Secret Intelligence Service, also known as MI6, used a foreigner in China to collect secrets and other information. China's Ministry of State Security revealed on its social media account that a foreigner in charge of an overseas consulting agency, the MI6, established an intelligence cooperative relationship with that person. Meanwhile, the British government said that Chinese spies are targeting its officials in sensitive positions in politics, defense and business as part of a spying operation to gain access to secrets. Right, shifting focus away from the Indo-Pacific to West Asia now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will hold talks in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia on Monday as part of his tour of West Asia. Blinken started a 5-day diplomatic effort in Jordan and Qatar on Sunday, seeking to avert a wider growing conflict in the region.
On an urgent diplomatic mission to the West Asia, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Arab leaders on Sunday, stating that the ongoing conflict in Gaza could easily metastasize, causing even more insecurity and suffering.
This is a moment of profound tension in the region. This is a conflict that could easily metastasize, causing even more insecurity and even more suffering.
Blinken met with Qatar's Emir Sheikh, following which a separate meeting was held with top Qatari officials. Blinken also held discussions to free over 100 hostages still believed to be held by Hamas.
To those still being held hostage, to their loved ones, to their families, I promise you this: the United States will continue to work relentlessly to bring you home, to get you together with your family and loved ones.
Meanwhile, European Union's top diplomat Josep Borrell is also touring the region to try to quell spillover from the conflict into Lebanon, the West Bank and Red Sea shipping lanes where Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis have vowed to keep up attacks until Israel halts its campaign in the Palestine. Bureau Report, TD India.
All right, let me now update you on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Israeli troops have struck 30 significant Hamas targets in Khan Yunis. As per the Israeli Defense Forces, the locations were used as terrorist infrastructure and weapons storage facilities. The Israeli army also identified 10 terrorists and directed a UAV that targeted them in the area. The troops also tracked down a weapon-containing vehicle and a tunnel shaft belonging to Hamas in central Gaza. Israel says it will continue to use its counter-offensive until Hamas is eliminated and all hostages are freed. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated it at a weekly cabinet meeting on Sunday. He said the war will continue till his government ensures that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel.
We are not stopping until victory. The war must not be stopped until we achieve all of its goals. The elimination of Hamas, the return of all our hostages, and ensuring that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel. I say this to both our enemies and our friends. This is our responsibility and this is our commitment. Every other consideration must be set aside and we must continue until the total victory.
Meanwhile, the families of hostages in Gaza called on Qatar and other negotiating parties on Sunday to double up efforts to secure their release. They said that they had had meetings over the weekend with Qatari senior officials involved in the negotiations. With time passing by, the families continue to express anguish that the world attention is shifting elsewhere. Of the 240 people taken captive on 7th October, only half of them have been released by Hamas during a brief truce in November. Right, moving on, the Russian and Ukrainian military remain in a fierce confrontation, conducting attacks and offensives on multiple fronts with the aim to destroy each other's military targets. On Sunday, Russia reported heavy damage inflicted on Ukrainian troops and equipment, while Ukraine claimed that it held its ground and disrupted Russian positions. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky held a meeting with visiting Japan's Foreign Minister Kamikawa Yoko in Kyiv on Sunday. It was the Japanese minister's maiden visit to Ukraine. Minister Kamikawa assured President Zelensky of Japan's continued support. She announced a Japan-Ukraine conference to be held on 19th February in order to express Japan's commitment to Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction.
Japan is determined to continue supporting Ukraine so that its peace can return and restore the beauty of its land again. Japan has decided to allocate another $37 million to NATO's trust fund to provide equipment such as drone detection systems.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Defence Minister to pay a two-day visit to the United Kingdom. Demand for wooden models of the Ram temple at Ayodhya soars ahead of its inauguration. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with the beneficiaries of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. India starts commercial production of crude oil from its flagship deep-sea project in a river basin off the coast of the country's southern state of Andhra Pradesh. India summons Maldives High Commissioner, raises concerns over remarks by its ministers against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh wins a fourth consecutive term in office. Her party secures a two-thirds majority in Sunday's election. All right, going back to the top story, the commercial production of crude oil from the Krishna Godavari basin. That's our top story. And joining me for more on this story is Mr. Narendra Taneja. Mr. Taneja tracks energy policy and geopolitics. Mr. Taneja, are you with us?
Yes.
Right, I'm told he is with us. Mr. Taneja, good to see you. First off, could you give our viewers an overview of the discovery of oil and gas in the Krishna Godavari River basin? And also, why was it important?
Well, good question. You see, when you look at the landscape of India in terms of oil and gas exploration production, we have, done very well in terms of oil and gas production from onshore fields in Assam, in Gujarat, in Rajasthan, in Andhra Pradesh, and a couple of other places. But scientists, they have been saying for years now that, we have huge potential in terms of oil and gas in our deep water and ultra deep water. So that means basically going, along the east coast and the west coast and also in the Andaman Nicobar, for hunting for oil and gas. That's precisely what, the company ONGC has been doing. And they started this process many years ago. First, of course, was the survey and then followed by exploration. And they have been lucky in terms of identifying a few areas where it was established by scientists that we have oil and gas, but very deep in the water. So they mobilize technology, they mobilize training, they mobilize, other skills, etc. It took some time, but as you know, that first, they established it, and now they have started production. So if you look globally, there are only 5 or 7 countries in total which have got the kind of, capability and over a period of time built capacity to go for oil and gas exploration in deep water and ultra deep water. Now India has joined this club. ONGC has joined this club. We have been producing oil and gas from deep water near Krishna Godavari in that area only by a private sector company. But this is the first time that ONGC has started production, and in a very significant way, producing 47,000 barrels a day, and they're going to scale it up to close to 80,000 barrels per day, plus of course natural gas. So I think ONGC joining the deep water club, ONGC helping the country to reduce its dependence on imports in terms of oil and gas, which I think is a very, very significant thing. So as the scientists say, Bay of Bengal is floating on oil and gas. Andaman Nicobar area is floating on oil and gas. So with this going on stream in terms of production, I think is a very significant step in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat in terms of oil and gas, or to achieve the goal of energy independence by 2047. Which is the country's ultimate goal. So it's very significant, very important step.
Mr. Taneja, thank you for breaking it down for our viewers. Now, again, to put it in perspective, how much oil was India producing until now, and how does it compare to the rest of the world?
Well, very good question. You see, I'll break it in 2 parts first, so that for your viewers. First is, that we are the 3rd largest consumer of oil in the world. The United States, China, and then India. So we consume roughly 5.5 million barrels of oil every day. 5.5 million, which makes us the 3rd largest consumer, of oil on the planet. But bulk of it, almost 87% of it is imported. We are importing from different geographies. But part of it, 87%, we import, we refine, and we export in terms of products like petrol, diesel, kerosene, turbine fuel, etc., to 106 countries around the world. So we are a major player in terms of petrol, diesel, etc., globally. But with this, what happened, when it comes to our own production is about, in total about 14%, 14 to 15%, it keeps changing, of the total oil consumption of 5.5 million barrels. So with this, it will help us to reduce our dependence to some extent. Don't forget one thing, when we say India is a fast-growing economy, India is the fastest-growing emerging economy in the world, and economies grows on the basis, on the strength of energy. And within energy, oil is actually the very important commodity. So which means that, while we are reducing our dependence on imports, while we are going for, production from, deep water, but at the same time, we will continue to consume more oil because we are a very fast expanding economy. So therefore, I think on the one hand, we are making more oil and gas, from our own basis, but at the same time, we are consuming more. But it's a very strong step. As I said, India joining the Deep Water Club, ONGC joining the Global Deep Water Club, that is what is significant because the scientists say that in our ultra deep water on the west coast, particularly on the east coast and Andaman Nicobar, we have got huge reserves. So this shows that now we have the capability, we have technology, we have the expertise, and our companies are going to go even deeper into ultra deep water in the entire area, which means in future, who knows, that, we may be in a position that, that we will be able to reduce our dependence on imported oil to maybe just 10% or even less than 10%.
Indeed. So as you say, Mr. Taneja, India produces only 14% of its total consumption of oil. But that said, what will be the Krishna-Godavari basin's contribution to India's domestic oil production?
Good question. You see, when you look at the Krishna-Godavari basins entire, whether the ONGC and plus the other companies operating in that area, that has already helped us. For instance, our dependence on imported natural gas until recently was about 56%, which means 56% of our total requirement we have been importing. Now, thanks to Krishna-Godavari, that our dependence on imported gas has actually come down by about 5%, which is significant for an economy like ours. So, and in oil now, for instance, our dependence will, over a period of time, come down significantly. We are starting with 48,000 barrels. It will go up to 70,000 per barrel, and over a period, it may go even 100,000 barrels, etc. So this has shown the way. This is just the beginning. And that area, the Krishna-Godavari basin area, that is, according to scientists and geologists, that we have plenty of oil available there. Only thing we need is to actually explore further and dig even deeper under the seabed. So now we have the expertise, now we have the technology, now we got the people who know how to do it. I think, so it will continue. But as far as I look upon Krishna-Godavari, the entire area, and this news in this way that, look, now we have more or less mastered technology. We know how to do it, how to go into deep water, ultra deep water, and bring oil and gas out from there for our consumption, our for our industry, for our economy, our individual users, so on and so forth. I'm looking at this way that this entire area is going to lead us to actually venture into other parts of, East Coast and also West Coast and Andaman Nicobar, and eventually reach to the state where we'll be able to reduce our dependence on imports quite significantly.
On that optimistic note, Mr. Taneja, may I thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Right, and moving on, ahead of the consecration ceremony of the Ram temple at Ayodhya, the demand for its wooden models has gone up. Even pens, LED lights, key rings and Lord Ram's posters are all in much demand. DD India's Kriti Vadhera reports.
Preparations are in full swing for 22nd January's consecration of Ram temple, and Ayodhya is attaining its glory every day.
No, Ayodhya is a divine city. We have been brought up by hearing a lot of stories about Ram and Ayodhya. And here we got an opportunity to come here and see the Ayodhya live. 22nd, the new mandir is getting inaugurated. So we have come here to see how Ayodhya is, how vibrant is Ayodhya is. and looking at the complete Ayodhya, what I feel was to understand the social fabric of the country and the religious sentiment of the country, you have to come to Ayodhya.
The town is brimming with excitement amongst visitors and localities too. Wooden replica of Ram Temple and other souvenirs are in much demand.
Markets adjacent to the Ram Janmabhoomi temple here in Ayodhya appear to be saffron, and all the shops are having very fascinating souvenirs for the visitors who are visiting Ayodhya.
It is amazing, and everything here is so different. The culture, the food, and the vibes here are so different. And my father, ever since I was little, he has been telling me stories about Ayodhya and Ramayana, and now it's so good to see it in real life and experience it. And we have visited many temples such as Sarayu River, Hanuman Gadi and Ram temples and all, and it's really nice.
I'm so happy that Ram Mandir is being built in 2024, and I'm so blessed that I live in Ayodhya. I'm so glad I can't express my emotions and my expression to all of you. The Ayodhya people are so happy that Ram Mandir is being built now.
The kind of excitement which we can see here on the streets of Ayodhya amongst the local Ayodhyaites. With camera person Shiv Suman, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from Ayodhya Dham for DD India.
And Kriti Vadhera now joins us for more on this developing story. Kriti, we are told that tourists from all over the world are flocking to Ayodhya. Give us a flavor, if you will, about how the temple town is decked up to welcome pilgrims and visitors alike.
Well, good afternoon, Ramesh. And here, where in Ayodhya I'm standing, it is Lata Mangeshkar Chowk. And this is again much of a fascination place for all the tourists and for the localites. At evening we can see it becomes a selfie point, and this Lata Chowk leads to the main road to state highways and the national highways. And Ayodhya at this particular time and after 22nd will be a visual treat for the viewers who are visiting it. And more than 100 of the walls are joining the national highway are being carved from cement, and various sculptors from all across the nation are being called here. And scenes from Ramayana, various chapters from Ramayana are depicted there. Several artists are there to paint these walls. So it's going to be a visual treat for the tourists who will visit here. And many pillars, beautiful pillars depicting several religious symbols also. A symmetry in shops is seen here. That's a new development in New Ayodhya Dham. All the shutters of the shops are painted same with religious symbols. So Ayodhya is all set to celebrate the grand event on 22nd January.
Indeed, and tell us a bit more about the activities that have been planned between now and the 22nd of January, when the consecration ceremony will actually take place.
Certainly, there would be many activities. At today morning, we witnessed that the Dhwaj gun was going into the temple premises, on which the main flag will be there. And by today evening, the main gates, the 44 gates of the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Garbhagriha, will be installed as per the trust. They have informed us, and we have seen several cleanliness drive also within Ayodhya, be it the local streets or the main roads. People are celebrating as if there will be a Diwali celebration in Ayodhya. So that is the sentiment of people here. They are in preparation, and if I talk about the arrangements, major traffic arrangements would be there, and we have witnessed several police is deployed here, and they're taking trials. And here at Lata Chowk also, at times in evening, traffic is stopped to keep a check at how the preparations are going to take place on 22nd January.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Kriti Vadhera in Ayodhya, thank you for now. Appreciate it. And to show devotion towards Lord Ram, a physics teacher, Dr. Ajay Mittal, has written 12,585 verses of the Ramcharitmanas on a miniature glass plate. He has been recognized by the India Book of Records for this feat. But moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be visiting the western Indian state of Gujarat from 8th to 10th January. He will inaugurate the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit 2024 at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar. Meghna Dev has more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit in Gandhinagar, the capital of Gujarat, which is a western state in India. This global summit will be held from the 10th to 12th of January, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding talks with global CEOs as well as with head of states. Also, this time, the global summit, the theme is on Gateway to the Future. The Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit was first launched in 2003 when the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The 20th anniversary of the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit was celebrated in September last year.
वाइब्रेंट गुजरात की सफलता इसकी विकास यात्रा से भी समझी जा सकती है। 2003 में इस समिट से कुछ 100 पार्टिसिपेंट्स और डेलीगेट जुड़े थे। बहुत छोटा सा कार्यक्रम था। आज 40,000 से ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट्स और डेलीगेट्स इस समिट में हिस्सा लेने के लिए आना शुरू हुए। 2003 में इस समिट में सिर्फ गिनती भर देशों का पार्टिसिपेशन था। आज 135 देश इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं। 2003 में इस समिट की शुरुआत में 30 के आसपास एग्जीबिटर्स आए थे। अब 2000 से अधिक एग्जीबिटर्स इस समिट में आते हैं।
The summit is held biennially, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the summit was not held for the last 2 times. With time, the summit has evolved as one of the most reputed global forums for business networking, knowledge sharing, and strategic partnerships for inclusive growth and sustainable development. Meghna Dev's report, DD India.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the beneficiaries of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra through video conferencing on Monday. The program aims to inform people about government welfare measures by ensuring that their benefits reach the targeted people in a time-bound manner. More than 100 million people have participated in the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra from across the country.
सबको मेरी बहुत-बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। जरा भूमिका जी, मैं आपके बारे में जानना चाहूंगा। आपके बारे में बताइए।
Still to come on DD India News Hour. India announces its squad for a 3-match T20 series against Afghanistan. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli make a comeback after more than a year. India's Varun Tomar secures India's 14th quota for the Paris Olympics, wins gold in 10-meter air pistol. And the Golden Globes this year had many snubs and surprise wins that left fans wanting more.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है। तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है यहाँ।
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is leaving on a two-day visit to the United Kingdom on Monday. Along with a high-level defence delegation, Minister Singh will hold a meeting with his UK counterpart, Secretary of State for Defence Grant Shapps. Discussions on a wide range of defence, security and industrial cooperation issues are expected. He will also interact with the CEOs and industry leaders of the UK defence industry and meet with the Indian community as well. And now to business news. Major Asian stock markets retreated on Monday after Wall Street logged its worst week since November. Oil prices fell after Saudi Arabia on Sunday cut oil prices to Asian markets to their lowest level in 27 months. Meanwhile, there was promising news from Washington, D.C., where U.S. congressional leaders agreed on a $1.6 trillion spending deal aimed at averting a partial government shutdown. Germany's train drivers union called on members to strike work this week. The union is demanding a reduction in working hours from 38 to 35 hours per week for shift workers, along with better wages from the state-owned rail operator Deutsche Bahn. The union has announced to strike work in passenger transport services starting Wednesday and lasting until Friday. But the freight transport drivers are to begin their strike on 9th January, the union said. And now take a look at some more stories making news around the world. A winter storm pounded the U.S. East Coast, leaving roadways and vehicles covered in snow. Footage shows individuals shoveling snow and posing for photographs in a winter paradise. Massachusetts reported 12 inches of snow, while Maine experienced heavy snowfall on Sunday. America's first lunar lander in 5 decades blasts off on private mission early on Monday. Private industry is leading the charge with a brand new rocket. United Launch Alliance's Vulcan Centaur lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 7:18 GMT for its maiden voyage, carrying Astrobotic's Peregrine lunar lander, with touchdown scheduled for mid-February. And now to all the news from the world of sport with Mark Lynn. Mark, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Ramesh. And let's start with cricket. And star batters Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they've been recalled to India's T20I team after more than a year for the 3-match T20I series against Afghanistan, which starts in Mohali from January 11. And the duo last played a T20 match for India way back in November of 2022. That was a semi-final loss to England in Adelaide. And they have not been selected in the shortest format since then. But Rohit is going to be captaining the side against Afghanistan because Hardik Pandya continues to remain out of action because of injury. The second T20I will take place on January 14. The third will be on January 17. In women's cricket, Australia secured a 6-wicket win over India in the second T20I to level the series 1-1. India was restricted to 130 runs thanks to Annabel Sutherland and Georgia Wareham, who shared 4 wickets between them and conceded just 35 runs in their 8 overs. India's Varun Tomar won gold and India's 14th quota, in fact, for this year's Paris Olympic Games, winning the 10-meter air pistol men's event at the Asian Olympic qualification event in Jakarta. The 20-year-old shot 239.6 in the final, edging out compatriot Arjun Singh Cheema, who won the silver medal in a close final. Germany beat the top seeds Poland to clinch the United Cup in Sydney after Alexander Zverev and Laura Siegemund. They won the deciding mixed doubles over Hubert Hurkacz and Iga Swiatek. With the score tied at 1-1 after Swiatek and Zverev won their respective singles matches, the German duo won the doubles 6-4, 5-7, 10-4.
Everybody for coming to the United Cup. Thank you for the guys who also didn't play the United Cup. I mean, you guys had as big as a role as anybody, you know, supporting from the bench for the last 10 days. I think it's been absolutely amazing. It's been a pleasure, and it's been absolutely so much fun for everybody to be part of this team, especially for me. I really thank you guys for being part of this. I really couldn't be happier sharing this trophy with anybody than you guys.
Well, the world of football lost the Brazilian soccer legend Mario Zagallo, who was laid to rest in Rio de Janeiro. Zagallo had an illustrious career, winning 4 World Cups for Brazil as either a player or coach. He died on the 6th of January at the age of 92. Well, that's all we have from the world of sports. Back to you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. And out of the 81st Golden Globe Awards, Succession, Oppenheimer and Barbie, they take a look at what all went down at Hollywood's celebration of the best in TV and film.
The 81st Golden Globe Awards honored the best of television and film on Sunday in California's Beverly Hills. The star-studded ceremony brought celebrities together for the first time after 6 months of strikes by actors and writers in 2023. In television, HBO's Succession won 4 Golden Globes, including Best Drama Series.
This is really heavy. Thank you, Jesse, for casting me in this, and Francine for putting me in front of Jesse. And this show is, it's changed my life.
Netflix's Beef also made waves, winning Best Limited Series as well as Best Male and Female Performances for Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong. The Bear won the Best Comedy Series, while star Jeremy Allen White won Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Musical or Comedy category. In movies, Oppenheimer swept major categories including Best Motion Picture Drama. Christopher Nolan bagged Best Director for the film, while Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. won Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor respectively.
I can only accept this on behalf of people. As directors, we bring people together and we try and get them to give of their best. And Robert, Cillian, my partner in crime of 20 years, Matt, wherever you went, and Florence and Emily, just the incredible work of our amazing crew.
Emma Stone was named Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical for her performance in gothic comedy Poor Things. The honors for 81st Golden Globes was selected by a new group of 300 entertainment journalists from around the world, a move that followed heavy criticism around the voting panel's diversity and ethics. The Hollywood's annual award season will culminate with the Oscars on March 10, 2024. Akriti Bhandari for DD India.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.